Hello, everyone. It is Jaime Wright here at MadLit podcast, MadLit Musings podcast. I am on coffee cup number 278 for the day, working at 279. But this is not about me or my coffee intake. This is about my special guest friend, Elizabeth Maddrey, who hails from where? Where do you hail from?
I'm waiting for you to tell me where.
I know, right? I'm just going to announce.
Virginia, outside DC.
Outside DC, Virginia. Oh, I knew that too. I just couldn't remember. So do you like living near DC? Is that fun?
Moments. I think it's like when you live near any like major tourist destination, you don't actually take advantage of the things that are there.
This is true.
Because you don't want to deal with the tourists. So.
Yeah, there's too many people.
Yeah,
I live near a tourist town myself, and we have we call it the season on tourists.
Yes.
Like when they cross the road in May and they're walking pedestrians, you're like, I'll stop for you a whole block ahead. And then you get June, July, and you're kind of like honking your horn. In August, it's like points, you know? Like if it's an adult, you get so many points. If it's elderly, you get so many. It's horrible. It's like a video game. No, I'm kidding. Again, 290 some cups of coffee talking right now. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. Have you ever gone to the top, though, of the Washington Monument?
I have not. Every time I want to go, it is closed. It seems to get closed for refurbishment every time you turn around, which then makes me a little nervous about wanting to go up.
Because it's not like Spider-Man really is going to come rescue you.
Right, exactly.
Like he does in the movie.
Yeah. So it is open again, and I keep thinking I should take my kids down and we should go do it. But then I'm like, should I? I don't know.
You could go, and then if they ask you to sign a waiver at the bottom, then just politely decline and walk away.
Okay, that's a thought.
Yeah.
The White House, though.
Oh.
So that was fun.
Did you see the president?
No.
No.
I saw paintings of presidents.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're probably the originals, too, not copies.
Probably, yes.
All right, so we are not here to talk about presidents or the Washington monuments or Washington, D.C. We are here to talk about your books and your ministry of writing and the things that you like to throw in. And I'm just going to call it out for what it is. You write romantic fiction.
I do.
About billionaires.
I do.
So we know that I'm Gothic and I kill people and people are haunted. So we are on two opposite extremes of the fence when it comes to books. And yet you are on my podcast. So welcome.
Yes, I am. It's good. It's good.
This is cool. I'm excited. So tell us a little bit about your stories, what you write, and these billionaires that you keep putting into your books.
So I did not always write billionaires. I did always write romance. But so the thing I think with reading in general, but with romance in particular, I think a lot of why readers read romance and just why readers read is they want to escape a little bit of their life.
Right.
And so readers often will say, oh, I want realistic romance. That's a big thing. They're like, oh, I want realistic romance. And so I wrote a lot of very realistic romance. And it turns out that readers don't actually want realistic romance. They think they want realistic romance. They want realistic romance inside fantastical romance, which is where now the billionaires come in.
Got it.
So because the escape can't happen when you're stuck in traffic on Friday trying to get home and you're worried about getting to the grocery store and whether or not you have enough money in your checking account to actually feed your family. That's like not romantic.
No.
So
it's not. I've been there. I don't come home
romantic.
Feeling all romantic. I'm like,
right. So
I got ramen noodles, people.
Yeah.
Don't complain.
Mac and cheese, 10 cents a box at Aldi, you know.
It's sweet.
So,
light a candle. There's your romance, baby.
Right. So so the billionaire aspect is a way to sort of increase the fantasy level enough to the point that then you can incorporate realistic issues, because my billionaires in particular are just normal people who happen to have money. Oh, they still have problems. And like one of my major goals that I try to make sure that is in there is that our problems aren't solved by money or by
Right.
ourselves or
Right.
by what we do. Our problems are solved by Jesus. Like
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah.
Where do our problems get solved? They get solved at the foot of the cross, and
Mhm.
probably not necessarily the way we want them solved. Um, because we don't always know the best way to solve the problem, even though like I know in my life I always know the best way. And
Mhm.
like Jesus and I have some knockdown dragouts about that.
All the time. Yeah.
um, but realistically speaking, like money doesn't fix everything just magically.
Right.
And so that's why I kind of love having my Christian billionaires, is because they're finding that, hey, you know, I have this money. And then also they're finding, like, you know, Spider-Man had to find out with great power comes great
Comes great
responsibility.
responsibility. Mhm.
So, you know, with great wealth, now you have, what are you doing for the kingdom? What are
Yeah.
you doing with your money? Because if you have been greatly blessed, you must be greatly blessing others. You can't do otherwise.
Right.
And that doesn't have to be monetarily. Again, my billionaires and then the people who they fall in love with who tend not to be billionaires,
Mhm.
hopefully are finding out that, you know, you bless others and you should be blessing others, even if you are buying that 10-cent mac and cheese at Aldi,
Right.
um, because blessings aren't necessarily physical.
Mhm.
They are the outpouring of the Spirit through you.
Right.
So
Right. No, I love that. I love that about that concept too, because you do see a lot of romantic fiction. You know, you just scroll through Amazon or any of the other publishers out there that publish a lot of romantic fiction, and there's billionaires, millionaires, etc., but they're also kind of smarmy, for lack of a better word.
yes, secular billionaires are scary. They
They are.
really are.
Well, I like
Um,
almost like scary, scary. Like I picked one up for the heck of it one day. I think I was in the library and I was bored. And I just like, you know what? I need something I can't possibly write myself.
mhm.
And I picked it up and I was like partway through it and I'm like, this guy is almost abusive. Like
Yeah,
to be romantic,
yeah, no,
they're on a power trip of like all kinds of levels.
yeah, yeah, and that is not what you find with Christian billionaires in general, and certainly
Right.
not with mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Because yeah, you know, and I've read a lot of Christian billionaires, and I have not found that,
Hmm.
thankfully, in
Yeah.
in Christian billionaires,
Yeah.
because the point is, you know, to still give that Christian romance, just
Hmm.
to add the fantasy of, wouldn't it be lovely to be swept off your feet? It's
Right.
it's almost it's almost royalty romance, but
Hmm.
without the trappings of a monarchy and all the protocol and
Right.
all the, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of
No, and I like that because it is fun. And I'll admit, even as somebody who's gothic and ghostly, it
thing.
is fun to fantasize about the concept of somebody bringing you 3 dozen roses. Because seriously, who can afford 3 dozen roses? I
Right.
mean, I suppose somebody can, but
Yeah.
not in my world.
No.
And so, it's, or the thought process of walking into a room and, there's candles and diamonds and, things that you just wouldn't get. I
Yeah.
like that element of fantasy and romance that doesn't graduate or evolve into something weird
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
lip curling and ooh,
Right.
ooh,
Yes. Yeah. Nothing scary.
no,
No.
well, nothing scary or smarmy or anything like that.
No. No.
Right. No, that's awesome. I love that. And um, I think it's cool that you're talking about too. You're talking about the concept of your billionaires are learning, or some of them are, how to process biblically and spiritually the fact that they have the amount of money
Mhm.
that they do. And I know there's the scripture that often gets taken out of context where it talks about um, the love of money is the root of all evil. And a lot of people say money is the root of all
Right.
evil, but that's cutting out the first part, which is the love of money,
Yeah.
which is the obsession with, or the, you know,
Yeah.
concept. So I like how you mentioned that you worked that in
Yeah.
to your stories.
Yeah. My series that I'm finishing up this year is a group of 6 friends who like a year and a half ago, some people on Reddit basically shorted, or they did some stuff with GameStop stock
Mm-hmm.
and made a whole bunch of money because like the hedge funds were trying to short it and put them out of business, and they all rallied around it. And so it was this cool kind of thing, and I loved it. And so I had my little 6 guys be part of it, and that's how they got their billions. Nobody actually became a billionaire as part of that, but that was like the inspiration of it.
Right.
So they just went from normal little tech nerds, because I love a tech nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just went from that to now they're billionaires, and like some of them are still working their day job because they don't know what else to do. They're just like, I don't know what to do with $2 billion. That's just this bizarre number that I can't wrap my head around. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that they're kind of like the nerds too, because a lot of times with billionaires or any type of romance where money's involved, I guess, they're the hunky, Christian Grey type of guy who's powerful and got it all together, and every woman dreams to be his girl. And you've got tech nerds who are like, oh, I got a checking account, I'm not sure what to do with it, but
yeah.
No,
cool. I don't think I've ever written an alpha hero. I've got like 46 books and no alpha heroes.
Yeah.
Maybe one. I can think of one who comes close, but probably still isn't an alpha.
Okay, so we're going to issue a challenge to all the MadLit Musings readers out there to get all 46 of Elizabeth Maddrey's books. And the first person to report in with the alpha hero's correct name will win absolutely nothing. But we are really excited for this challenge. This is great.
I can give you a fake $1 billion.
You could get some Monopoly money and you're set. That'd be really funny. You should do a contest like that and then have a big like check presentation with fake $1 billion. Oh, I love it. So when you look at writing romance, and you mentioned earlier in the conversation, people don't want realistic romance, even though they say they do. And then you write more of the fantasy. And I want to be careful when I say the word fantasy for anybody listening, clean fantasy, etc. type of romance where you can let your imagination go and just dream you're a princess without actually being a princess type thing.
Right.
How do you think romance like that fits into a parallel with the relationship that we have with Christ? Because so often in scripture they talk about how the relationship between a man and a woman is a picture of the marriage of Christ and his church. And I just have this gut feeling you've got something profound to say.
Well, I do actually. I don't know about profound, but I do think that there is a parallel. I mean, one of the things that I adore about writing romance is the fact that it is, in my mind, sort of the perfect baseline for exploring any other issue. Because at our cores, we are designed for romance. We were created out of a desire for companionship. God created man in his own image because he wanted a creation that would worship him, that would commune with him and fellowship with him. And he created woman because it was not good for man to be alone. Right. And so we have this built-in core need for that relationship, and the family relationship, the marriage relationship absolutely mirrors the relationship of Christ and the church, and it mirrors even the relationship of the Father, Son, Spirit Trinity of God himself. And so it's this beautiful thing, and our versions like are broken with sin because we're broken with sin. Yay.
Right. I know, right? Winners. We're winning.
But I still think, you can still see in a broken mirror, and you can get a picture, you can extrapolate of what the beauty's gonna be when the mirror gets fixed.
Right.
And so I love taking romance that leaves you sort of with that happy sigh of contentment and fulfillment of, yay, look how beautifully it worked out between them. And then I love to weave in other issues facing Christians in the world today, and sort of saying, don't shy away from thinking about these things. Don't shy away from addressing them in your life, because I think it's very tempting to want to do that, because there is a lot of turmoil in the world. And I do read to escape. I know everybody probably does. And it's good to escape, but at the same time, don't escape so much that you're not changing the world.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's a pull quote right there. I can't repeat it because I'm not good at repeating things, but that was a pull quote if I've ever saw one. Heard one. Yeah, seriously though. I mean, it's one of those things where escaping reality is so tempting in so many different ways. But then there's also the concept of escaping into a fictional world that shuts you down from being effective, and can even shut down the growth of your own faith and your own relationship with God, because you're focusing on something that isn't real versus something that can be extremely real, which is one reason why I like Christian romance and romance like what you write, where you can read that and yet get rerouted and pointed to the true romance, which is a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is cool. Awesome. All right. So the book that you just had recently released is called Her Billionaire Benefactor. Do you want to give us a quick summary as to what that's about?
Sure.
Okay.
So this takes place in Gilead, Kansas, which is fictional town in Kansas, known for putting on an Easter play every year. It is actually part of a multi-author series hatched because some authors and I were discussing the fact that there's not a lot of Easter romance out there. There's all kinds of Christmas romance, which is great. Everybody loves Christmas. Christmas is great. But without Easter, Christmas is stupid. Like, it's great that Jesus came, but if he didn't die and wasn't resurrected, then Christmas is pointless. So we wanted Easter romance. So we centered it around this Bible college that does this big, huge passion play every year. So in my my book, my heroine is Wendy Hall, which she is the older sister of a heroine from a previous book of mine, The Billionaires Nanny. So she is a widow. She lost her husband and her 2 daughters in a car accident in The Billionaire's Nanny. It's not really a big spoiler, but so that happened about a year prior to when Her Billionaire Benefactor kicks in. And she is sort of harboring this huge secret. And she's still obviously healing and grieving. And basically she has spent her whole life trying to be the perfect daughter. Because she feels like her sister was always the favorite one, who and the lucky one, and who her parents sort of like put up with and was like, oh, haha, and so Wendy just always was trying to be, like, if I'm perfect enough, I'll get the recognition that I crave. She didn't know any other way to do it. So she's just trying to be enough in and of herself. Preston comes to Gilead because his great-grandmother met his great-grandfather at Gilead Bible College. And so she's like 90-something, wants to set up an endowment at the college because they have family money. So he's like, can't I do this with a phone call? And she's adamant that he needs to go and experience the Easter play because she has such fond memories of it.
Sure.
So that's why he's down there.
Okay.
And Wendy. Now, as
after 46 books, you're bound to get some people's names mixed up.
We do this thing where we think we're being cute, that the sisters have the same starting letter. And then we mess ourselves up over and over again. So Wendy is in charge of development for the college. So she and Preston end up having to work together a lot as part of him being there. So that is why they are thrown together. And he he sees that she's hurting and he sees her secrets and he's just he's like fascinated by the idea of unraveling what it is that's going on with her. And so he does.
So he does. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun. Awesome. Yeah. That sounds great. And so if people want to read one of your 46 books, because there's a big backlist, people, so
there is
no boredom in your future.
No.
Where do they find out more about you and your books and all that jazz?
So elizabethmaddrey.com is my website. I am also exclusive on Amazon. So if you just go to Amazon and put Elizabeth Maddrey books, you'll get there.
It'll pop up.
So that means I am in Kindle Unlimited. If you are a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, that is a good thing for you.
Awesome. Sounds good. And you're also on Facebook, I know.
I'm on
Facebook,
Instagram. You can follow me on BookBub. All my books are there too, if that's your thing. So
Awesome. All right.
Cool. Like to see what your authors are reading. I'm on Goodreads, but I mostly use Goodreads to keep track of what I'm reading, so rather than to do anything else.
That's kind of how I am too. Like I just go in and keep track of what I'm reading and see if I can get past 5 books in a year, because I'm writing so much, right?
I don't know. I average like 200. So.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well then, I'm
one of those.
No,
I'm one of those. No. I'm sorry.
Well, but do you watch a lot of movies and TV though?
No.
See, there's your difference.
Yeah.
Because my husband and I are like movie junkies, and so it's something we like to do together. And
that's awesome.
It's fun. It's great, but it cuts into your reading time.
Yeah. No, my husband is a video gamer. In the evenings he'll play video games and I'll sit next to him and read.
Oh, see, that's like the perfect pairing. That's awesome. I love it.
This is why I write nerdy heroes. I have one.
It's good though, because we don't have enough nerdy heroes, in my opinion, in books. And I don't mean to say this is going to come out completely wrong, but like average, everyday, relatable people, like they don't always have to be models and, billionaires that spend 5 hours in the gym every day.
Right. Although exactly.
Some people like that. That's okay. I like nerds. Nerds are great.
Me too. Big fan of nerds.
All right. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for putting up with me. And I'm going to go get my 298th cup of coffee for the day. And it's been a blast having you on. And it's really fun to hear about authors out there that are writing really good romance that you don't have to squint and narrow your eyes while you're reading, and that honors and glorifies the Lord. So thank you for that.
Thank you.